I'm Betty Chavez. I'm with the Division of Consortium Choice and Application Program Services. You may have seen my name on things that are coming out in the mail. I'm the one that tries to coordinate the application process. I want to thank our presenters here tonight. They did a fabulous job and make it very difficult for me to follow them because my information is not quite as exciting to hear. I'm going to talk to you about the application process, what you have to do, important deadlines, and hope to answer those kinds of questions. Behind me is the timeline, and you have important dates on your green sheet as well. November 7th is the deadline for the applications to be in our office, either postmarked or hand-delivered by the 7th. And in January, we will have the testing for those of you that have turned in an application. In mid-March, the decisions will be mailed. And March 30th to April 1st will be the dates of the open houses for those students who have been invited to attend. So where are all these centers? There are 7 centers in 8 sites. Each center pulls from a specific high school cluster. The center to which you are applying is determined by your home school. If your child attends a different elementary school for any reason, for example, one of the language immersion programs, you are still applying to the center according to your home school. Unfortunately, there aren't exceptions to this due to our limited space. And if we were allow you to pick the center that's maybe more convenient to your babysitter or your work, you would be taking a space from someone that's living in that area. The other thing to remember is because you're applying to the center based on your home school and where you're living, if you move, or if you're thinking of moving, at any point during the application process, please give our office a call immediately because it may impact the center to which you are applying. If you move prior to the decisions being made in February, it is easy for us to move your child to the right center. If you move after the decisions have been made, the centers will be full. You will still be able to attend the center for which you applied. We will, of course, try to make every effort to move you to the center for your new location, but we cannot guarantee it. If we cannot move your child, like I said, you can still go to the center program for which they were selected, but you will need to provide the transportation for them. So where can you get the application? You have, hopefully everybody has received an application if you are a Montgomery County resident with a 3rd grade student. If you are a non-MCPS student, we welcome you and welcome your interest, and you can easily get it on our Montgomery County website. You can download it and mail it in. If for some reason you did not get your application, you can get one from your school or also from the website. If you have any difficulty at all, you can give us a call and we'll put one in the mail to you. If you choose to have your child apply to the center program, you need to complete the application and return it to our office by November 7th. I recommend that you make a copy of the application before you mail it in. You will receive a confirmation in the mail stating that we have received your application, and in that letter it will inform you of the date to which your child will be tested in their home school. You should be receiving this before winter break, and if you do not, please call our office. In January, your child will be tested in their home school. A trained testing assistant will administer the test. If your child wakes up the day of the test and is feeling sick, please, please, please keep him home or her home. If you think they're not at their best, do not send them to take the test. We have Several makeup test dates scheduled, and all you need to do is give me a call, and we will give you the test date and information and schedule you for the makeup. The makeup testing will be taking place in central locations, possibly on Hungerford Drive in the school board office building or in their Silver Spring location. Also, if your child has an IEP or a 504 plan and has special needs which require testing accommodations, speak with your child's school to make sure that they're aware of the accommodations and that your child is applying to test. We will work with the schools to make sure that the accommodations are provided. Also, please indicate the need for testing accommodations on the bottom of that application. So how are the students selected? It's more than just like the little boy said on the video, I took the test, I got it, and I passed it. Because there's no cutoff. We don't feel a one-day test says it all. We use a multiple criteria. The schools compile information on each of the students who are applying and send it to the central office. You don't have to be responsible for that at all. Once we have your application, that process is put into play. The selection committee meets to carefully review all of the applicants' information, and your application is part of that. We try to determine the strongest candidates for the program. The committee is comprised of stakeholders, administrators, staff members from the central office consisting of instructional and curriculum specialists who provide both content and program expertise. We also include staff from the special ed department, counseling, and ESOL backgrounds. The committee goes through a careful process considering every folder. As I said, we use multiple criteria. It's a combination of subjective and objective data. We consider report cards, classroom performance, standardized tests, and recommendations from the teachers in school. We also consider the parent information that was given on the application. We truly read that and we take it to heart. If you have turned in your application already and once I finish talking, you decide, oh, there's more that I want to put on there, all you have to do is send it to me with your child's name and school, and we will attach it to your application. Your input is extremely important to us. What we want to hear from you, we might not hear from the school. Things that may not be evident in the classroom. We have all the data. We want to know the other side. What you see as a parent, and how your child learns. What are their passions, their interests? What are the indicators that you see that tell you that your child needs the program that you have had presented tonight? In addition, we use an above-level test assessment that is given in January, as I mentioned. It is a group-administered reasoning ability test. It is fill-in-the-bubble multiple choice. The test assesses the student's reasoning abilities and problem-solving abilities in the areas of verbal, nonverbal, and the quantitative reasoning domains. The big question that I'm sure you're all waiting to hear, what can I do to help my child prepare for the test? You may not like the answer. The test is not an achievement test. You don't need to go and purchase books and get them all prepped. It's how they think and reason. Make sure he or she is well rested and they have a good breakfast. Send them off to school feeling confident and comfortable, and tell them to do their best and that there may be things on the test that they don't know. It is an above-level reasoning ability test to give us an indication of those students that are ready for that level of rigor. I jumped ahead on there. The center program application process is competitive due to the limited number of seats. Last year, we had over 2,500 applicants for approximately 440 spaces. Cold Spring, Chevy Chase, Drew, and Fox Chapel have approximately 52 seats. Barnsley, Clear Spring, and Pinecrest Oakview have 78 seats. Transportation is something that you'll need to consider if your child is invited to attend. It is from central stops, and they're usually MCPS schools. The stops may be several miles from your home. Parents are responsible for transportation to and from the central location. You cannot have your child take the neighborhood bus to their local school to pick up the center bus. They will have missed the center bus going through. Bus rides vary in length, but they may be up to an hour. The routes this year are on the website to give you an idea of the typical pickup locations and the times. They vary slightly from year to year depending on where our students are coming from, but you can look at that. And the transportation department will send out the new routes sometime in the summer. If your child is invited to participate in the program, you will be invited to that open house that will be on one of the days, March 30th through April 1st. You have a big decision to make. There are many things for you to consider. As the others have already mentioned, first you need to consider your child. All of the students applying are very bright. Think of the degree to which your child differs from other students. Some students can be provided for very successfully in their home school with the rigor that is offered in the home schools with acceleration and enrichment, while others need a program like the Center. As you heard, the Center program has much to offer. You need to make sure that you will be getting more than you are giving up for your family, for your child. It's a family commitment. The whole family is going to be affected by early waking, by a longer day, and your family schedules may need to be adjusted. Also, think about your child. Is he or she attached to his or her home school and their friends? Do they make friends easily? Do they adapt to new situations easily? Does your child have the stamina for the longer day? And it's not a longer school day, but adding the transportation to and from does add for a longer day. Does your child have the motivation to go to the Center? They need to want to be there. How will your child do in a setting where all of the students are very bright and he or she is probably used to being the top of the class? Is this a situation in which they will thrive, or do they like being in their home school when at the top of the class? And like the student said in there, I used to know all the answers. They'll find that they're not the only ones knowing all the answers. Transportation is definitely something to consider. In closing, I want to say we are available, both accelerated and enriched instruction and consortium choice and application programs, by phone or email to answer any of your questions. If you have a question that wasn't addressed tonight, please report it on your survey and someone will get back to you in the next week or so to talk to you about it.